What's going on, guys? Your boy Steels Forever, aka the King of Geeks, and that's right, your boy Steels Forever is back in the building. That's right, your boy Steels Forever is back in the building, and we're jump starting my retro gaming playthrough series. And what better way to kick off the series with one of my very adored favorite franchises, Phantasy Star, one for the Sega Master System. This released back in 1988, I want to say, something like that. But to me, this is one of the big three. This is definitely like a major pillar of the JRPG history. You had Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and to me, it's Phantasy Star. One of my favorite things that stood out about the series was, where Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior Quest and Final Fantasy was more medieval. With Phantasy Star, it was kind of like Star Ocean, where it was more leaning towards sci-fi and space travel and things like that. So it really stood out to me because of that, because that's probably like the only one I even remember that had a sci-fi feel for years until we get to Star Ocean and like the Xeno games and stuff like that. I may be missing some, but to me this was one of my all-time favorites. So we're gonna definitely kick this off with Phantasy Star. I got plans to play Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4. And cool history too, for those that don't know, the first 4 Phantasy Stars was pretty much just like a Final Fantasy game or a Dragon Quest game, where it's just basically solo, single player, and complete story. You fast forward to today, and most people recognize Phantasy Star for being an online game that most people play online on consoles and PCs. But they're crazy though. Crazy. The first 4 was just like neck and neck with Final Fantasy and things like that, just on the opposite system. Where back then, Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy was pretty much on Nintendo systems. Phantasy Star 1, 2, 3, and 4, along with some more games, the Shining games and things like that, was Sega's claim to fame. But we're gonna kick it off. I'm playing this off the Nintendo Switch. They have a Sega Ages collection where you can kind of download and buy different retro games from Sega's past. But this is one, most times it's around about $10, $7, $8, $9. Most times you can pick this up. It comes with 2 modes: Ages mode, which is a little bit, I'm not gonna say easier, it just gives less random encounters, and you get more money / coin for every battle, so it's a little bit easier to level up. But in my opinion, it's kind of not, because of the fact that since the game is really a grindy game, and since it has less encounters, it kind of makes the grind just as long. You just don't battle as much, if that makes sense. Like, you're still spending the time, but you're just not grinding as much. But I'd rather just hurry up and get the grind out the way, and keep the story going. So we're definitely gonna go with the original, and you want to make sure, that's just my opinion, cut the FM sound unit on. That's how it was designed to be played. That's a whole different history lesson for those that don't know. A lot of the other Sega systems had this FM chip that didn't get shipped to the States. So we're gonna play it, as it was intended to play. Let's jump in. I feel like I'm talking too much. Oh yeah, look at that. Listen to that. Not 32 16-bit, but 8-bit classic MIDI sound, man. Just let that play for a second. As much as I like this one, Phantasy Star 2 and Phantasy Star 4 has my favorite opening tracks. Love them. 1988, so I was right. Like this just the stars scrolling right here is like mind blowing, back in 1988. And you got to realize all this was done on an 8-bit machine. This is like Nintendo. Like, this was like groundbreaking. Scum, do not sniff around Lassic affairs. Learn this lesson well. And this is crazy. This has always been crazy to me. Like, even back in 88, like, it's a child playing this, the first thing you get is this guy right here, the main protagonist's brother, is basically just laid out, bleeding out on the ground, basically dead, which is crazy. Nero, what happened? Don't die. And that's his sister, Elise. Listen, Lassic is leading our world to destruction. Tried to discover his plans, but could not do much by myself. Why didn't he get help? You know, heard this man with great strength named Odin. The Odin. Odin. Maybe you two can stop, Lassic. If it's too late for me, be strong. So sad. Made sure that my brother's deaf. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out here too. Like, back then, translations was terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I can read through it the same way I read through it as a child. You kind of know what they're talking about. But the translation was very spotty. And for some reason, more in this game than most games, because this game right here, for some reason, never kept like this. Like, a lot of, you would notice once you play through all these games, like a lot of the names of cities and planets and different characters, their name changes. So it's crazy. But, you know, like I said, you still can play through it. You can get the gist of what's going on. Protect me, Nero. Protect me, Nero. This is the overhead map. Let's see. If we go in here, this is gonna be her home. This is home. And we're just gonna go around and talk to people. Cool thing too, like, you know, normally you just kind of walk up to a person and then you just hit the button, you know, and you normally would talk to him, but that doesn't work that way in this game. You kind of walk underneath him and he just automatically goes into the conversation. In some dungeons, you would not get far without some sort of light. So basically what he's talking about is like basically a lamp, you know, just to make it easy. He's talking about a lamp. Let's go talk to this guy right here right quick. We'll make a circle of the town so that way you guys can get a feel of everything that's going on. There's a spaceport to the west. Doom, doom, doom. The keys. One hears a lot. Okay, one hears a lot of stories, you know, but some say that a fighter named Odin lives in a town called Sion. Kind of pot. Oh God, here's some pot. Take this pot on your way, on your journey. If you go this way right here, it's like that's the way to the spaceport, but we don't have basically a travel pass, or passport, so we can't go yet. If you want to make a deal, you should head for the port town. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Also, guys, like when you're playing these old retro games, like you really have to pay attention. Like when he says something like that, and it's almost like back in the day we would have to make notes of it. Like, hey, like why did he say if you want to make a deal, head to the port town? Like you really need to go there. Everything is not just kind of like, they don't really hold your hand in a lot of the more traditional old school JRPGs. It's kind of like you really just have to figure out things on your own. Do you know about the planet of the Algol star system? If you say yes, he'll just say, oh, okay, since you know, I won't tell you, but we're going to say no. Palma, Mortavia, and the Voza. Palma is like the forest planet. Mortavia is like the sand planet, and the Voza, we're gonna say the Voza is a world of ice. The Algol star system is currently facing great crisis. Okay, let's see what's down here. Okay, so that's exit. That's how you would get out the current town. We're gonna go see what this guy says. Cannonite is a residential area. It's under martial law. Cannonite. It's always amazing me how they have such like weird names for stuff. These are the shops. Now, most time there's 3 of them. There's kind of like an armor weapon shop, like this one we're looking at. And he's selling leather shield, iron shield, and you know, honestly, dude, I don't even know what this is. It's just, you know, it's better because based off is 1400. So we don't want to buy anything because we don't have any money. We don't have any coin. The next type of shop is going to be like a potion shop, but they're going to call it, you can see at the bottom, a food shop. If you're going to buy something, you got cola and burger. Basically, these are just like health potions. Cola restores, I want to say about 10, 20 help, maybe HP. Burger, I want to say is 30 or 40. So that's pretty much all that is. They're just calling it food. And then this shop right here is kind of like the secondhand market where you can buy like random stuff, kind of like the black market. Flash is basically a lamp. Escape is going to be if you're in a dungeon and you're trying to escape and get out because you're about to die, probably. You can use the escape and it takes you out to the beginning. It takes you out the dungeon. If you use transfer, it's going to take you to the last town you visited. So if I go to a dungeon now, this will be the last town that I visited. Which you definitely want to have at least some transfers, because there are some dungeons you can run across where, like, yeah, you get demoed real quick. Let's see what this one's about right here. You need a dungeon key to unlock doors. For anybody that's thinking about playing these older JRPGs are extremely fun. You know, I ain't not gonna lie, but they're brutal. They're very, I don't want to call this grind heavy, but they're grind heavy. I'm Sulu. I know how you must feel, dear, doing what you know that needs to be done. And pretty much she's just the person you come to. She's kind of like an inn. So you go to her, she restores your HP and she restores your MP. But like I was saying, like it's I don't want to say it's grind like 'cause a lot of times people say grind heavy and it scares people away. This is the church, and here's something funny, right? Like if you come to the church, this is how you resurrect your characters that have fallen. But like, do you wish to resurrect someone? So why wouldn't we just resurrect their brother? Like, it's crazy, right? And it's always like that, because I'm making fun of this game, but they do it in all the other games too. It's like, even if you go to so I'm playing Rebirth right now, but if you go to the original Final Fantasy 7, right, where Aerithus dies, like, we have like Phoenix down. Like, why don't we just use the Phoenix down? Which I know it's a game, but so Lisa's alive, so we can't resurrect her. But the cool thing about him is that he literally tells you right there that your next level up is you need 20 experience points. So that's something you want to note. And you can, and on the slide you see how you got like where you can get your HP and MP back, and then down here you can check your experience, and then right over here you got the exit, right? So they already telling you like, yo bro, you finna grind. So we're going to kick everything off, right? So once you go around the town and kind of see what's going on, this is kind of like the first, it's not technically a dungeon, but it's kind of like a warehouse. And it's funny, like when you're in the town, they don't tell you anything about going here, but you need to go here, obviously. And when you pop in, bam, a dungeon. Now, back in 1988, 89, whenever I played this like completely blew my mind, because this was like not heard of. They have a 3D. You guys gotta think about it. This is an 8-bit machine that's pumping out 3D graphics. This was the first thing I saw. I remember on like commercials and magazines and things of that nature, and it made me want to play this game. But now this one right here is kind of simple and straightforward, but these things do get really complicated. And I mean the tune jamming, man. Listen to the tune. The FM chip. Got like a little cool door. You found a treasure chest. Do you want to open it? Of course. I hate this. Macetas are like basically gold coin thing. I always call everything gold or coin, but yeah, macetas are this is universe, basically their currency. I would say now what's cool about it is that stays true through all the different Phantasy Stars. It never changes. Okay, so once we do that, we got 50 macetas, right? So what you want to do is, if we start right here, we can bring up the stats real quick. You got stats, magic, item, search, and save. We're not going to save right in a moment, but if you look at her stats, her attack is 12, defense is 13, her hit points is 16. So basically we got 50 macetas. It's down at the bottom, the MST. We got a short sword and a leather armor. So basically we weak. We don't have any magic at the moment. She can learn magic, but we got to level her up. So what we're going to do is, now you can go grind and not necessarily need to go to one of these shops I'm finna go to and buy this shield, but it does help. It does help because at the very beginning, you're not going to be able to fight but almost like one, maybe two battles at a time. And then you're going to have to come back to the town. Do you want to buy something? Of course, we want to buy the leather shield. And do you want anything else? No, we don't want anything else. Okay, so now we got that. We're going to go into, there we go. We're going to go into the menus. And you have to go, you would think you would go to stats, but you don't. You go to items. You go to leather shield and you just hit the button. You don't want to use or drop it. You want to equip it. So now we equipped it and you can see we got the armor and the shield now. So her defense went up to 16, which is going to help us out. And now we can kind of, you know what? Let me save. Let me just be smart and save. And you always want to save too. When these games right here, guys, you definitely want to save. I'm just going to use that one. Okay, saving one is completed. Okay, you definitely want to save because you can die anytime. You really can. And we're going to exit the first town. This is like the world map. That's the town we was in. There's a town right here, and that's the spaceport that we got to get a passport to basically use. So long as you stay on this grass and you're inside this wall, nothing attacks you. You don't really want to go down here. I mean, you can play around with fate, but most of these enemies down there are a little bit too strong on the consistent scale. So you want to come right here. This is where I stay at. And I just go right here and see how fast we pick a battle. So he's 12, we're 16, so we should be able to take him. As you can tell, like, we're not really doing a lot of damage there. Like, so you imagine if you were fighting two of these things that you wouldn't be able to, like, yeah, we had 10 now, so we wouldn't be able to beat them if we had to fight two of them. So we killed the scorpion. We gained 4 experience points. We opened the chest. 13 pesetas inside. So this is what kind of deters people from playing, like, not only Phantasy Star, but Dragon Warriors this way. Now Final Fantasy wasn't typically that way, where I would say, like, if Final Fantasy 1 was a lot more easier to get into versus Dragon Warrior, Ultima, and Phantasy Star, because the first hour of grinding those games are very detrimental to your experience of how you're gonna, like, enjoy it or not. So, like, a lot of people never make it past the first hour or so because they just don't understand what's going on. But we're gonna come back to her and we're gonna heal, and then we're just gonna go right on back outside. And we're gonna go right on back down. And see, what we're really trying to do here is just gain a couple levels. Because every time we get some levels, her HP is gonna go up. And we're getting gold too, so we can upgrade her weapons. Now normally what I do is kind of slow grind this out, because what you really want to do is get to about level 4. I think it's level 4 or 5, because once you get to level 4 or 5, she's going to learn a heal spell. And once you get the heal spell, it's going to make it a lot more manageable. So we got another chest. We have 13s inside. And we're just gonna go right on back up, y'all. And like I said, it's best to do this to be safe than sorry. And if you're really smart, you probably just save the game after every 2 or 3 battles. Just being honest. Because if I died right now, I would lose all that. And I haven't done a lot, obviously. But now the one thing too about the first Phantasy Star, you can save anywhere. Like, in most games, you would have to actually save inside the town. But in Phantasy Star 1, you don't have to do that. You can just say, I could save out here. I could save in the field. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing, because if you save in the wrong place, you don't have a backup save, then we all know what that means. So you definitely want to kind of make some backup saves as you progressively play through these. And that's any retro game. Now here's something to pay attention to. Like, okay, You see we got one enemy on the screen, right? But if you look to the top right hand corner, you'll see where it says HP 8, but it's 2 of them. So that means there are actually 2 enemies on the screen. I don't know if we're going to be able to, we might be able to beat both of these, which I hope we can. Yeah, we are good, because that's going to give us a bunch of experience points. And that's pretty much what you want. If you can get 2 every time, it's kind of weak. Which was ironically enough, you thought we would have got more for killing them 2, but we didn't. Huh? That was very odd. But we're gonna go back here, and let's see. Let's rest up again, and let's go down here to the church, so I can kind of point out what I was talking about, like how the guy basically measures your experience. You know, advance to the next level, we need 8 more experience points. See, so now you know. So that's the cool thing about it, because it doesn't show you on the screen. You know, like in today's time, it'll literally have it sitting up there, you know, on your hub, like, okay, you know, you need this amount of experience and you level up. But you know, not in 1988, baby. Not in 1988. But like I said though, what's crazy is like all this background and these like how the basically like the little bug is moving and stuff. Like that's like grade A, dude. Like you think about that, Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Warrior didn't look like this, because like I remember playing Final Fantasy. He just basically had like the 3 or 4 guys, and they was just kind of lined it up on top of each other over to the side. On the right hand side, yeah, you had like the enemies, and it was like a black background. Versus where this is Phantasy Star 1, and you know, and I mean it looks better. Now don't get me wrong, there are things that I think Final Fantasy does a lot better in terms of the game. I think it's more, I don't want to say well put together, but just like in Final Fantasy, I don't think I had to grind like this to basically get the game started. Now, what I will say this too. Now, once you put about 30 minutes to an hour, about after an hour and a half, a lot of this grinding like this kind of goes away, because you kind of give yourself some room to where, you know, you kind of get beyond that point to where you can find some. We're gonna find some allies and things like that, and in managing your life and everything like that becomes a lot easier. Well, you see right now we leveled up. Treasure chest. So yep. We're gonna get that money. Got that money. Let's just see. Let's see where we're at now. Dun, 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 dun. So her hit point now is 20. So now the cool thing about that is like we can do more. So like some of those battles where we was fighting 2 things, now we can kind of like last longer, because we got a couple extra hits we can take before, you know, things gets a little dire. Now you don't technically have to do this. You could probably bought like some healing potions, but you know, in these type of games, you want to make sure you kind of save as much coin as you can, because you need to buy something. As we grind, what we're gonna do, we're gonna grind, and we're saving up for a better sword. A better sword. Oh, nope. Oh, nope. I don't even know why I did that, because I probably could have kept fighting. Let me see. Oh, man. See, I don't know about that. Let's try. If I would have healed up, we would have been able to get it. Yeah. Like we might be, yeah. See, he's going to hit twice. We're going to have to run. And that's another thing. I'm glad I showed you guys that. Like, don't be afraid to run. Like, you need to run. Like, most time when you're just doing the normal stuff, you can get away. But you don't get away all the time. So you don't get dependent on that. But like most time, if you're normally doing normal stuff and not in the dungeon, it will let you escape. But we're gonna keep grinding it out. I'm gonna try to grind out maybe one more level, and then I'm gonna go to see. We're gonna head over to the other town. Let's see this time. Okay, Cause now we at full health. It's that double attack, man. Like we're not hitting hard enough. Yeah, we're not hitting hard enough yet. We gotta run. Yeah. So you can see we still have to fight just that one thing at a time. I'm trying to get one more battle in before we end this in part 1. Okay, there we go. We got 2, but we can handle those. There we go. Gain 4 experience points. That still seems kind of low. Like you think you would get more than just 4 experience points if you kill 2 things. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we can get a couple more in here. We'll try to ride each of these episodes out at least around 30 minutes. I know there's some people who do playthroughs with Phantasy Star. They actually, they edit out some of the fighting, but I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm gonna try to. And if it gets too grindy, where I feel like it's just immensely too grindy, I'll edit some of it out, or I'll say, hey, we're gonna end it right here, and I grind a little bit off the playthrough. But right now, I don't think it's too bad. I think you guys need to see this at first, because then once you kind of, oh snap, I was about to die, wasn't I? Oh god, oh my, let me get out of here, because I can't take no more hits. And that's another good lesson to learn. That's why it's always a good lesson, a good habit to create is to save, because there is no auto save. There is none. Let's go ahead and save that right now. So, yep. So we don't make no boo-boos. No boo-boos. And also too, I noticed like in this one, every time you save, it's like a little slight pause. Like you don't really notice it, but I don't know if you guys can notice it, but I can hear it. It's like a little slowdown. Let's go and get a couple more in here. Yeah, we got about 2 or 3 minutes. Get some more grinding in. Grinding, yeah. Retro grinding. That's what it's all about. 8-bit grinding. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so next time we go, we'll be in the 20s, so we'll be able to take a lot of damage then. Because I want, we'll wait to the next episode. We're going to do one more, and I'm going to call it an episode. Hopefully, we're going to be brave. Let's go out here a little bit into the forest. Like your mom, like, don't go into the forest. All right. 2 points. All right, let's go back into the city. We're gonna heal, and then we're gonna go over here and heal, right? Like we normally do. Bam. And now you guys, if you guys have played this, or y'all are playing this or thinking about playing, there may be a better way to do this. This is just how I have always done it. This is how I played it. Like I guess this might be called the boring stills way, but this is how I do it. See, to advance to your next level, we need 14, so that's not much. So we're gonna save right there, and this is gonna wrap up the first episode of the Phantasy Star 1 retro series playthrough. And in the next episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up grinding that level out, and then we're gonna head over to there's another town over to the left, and we're gonna head over there, and then that's where the sword that we need to get. I can't remember how much that sword actually is, but we're gonna grind a couple levels, and we're gonna get that sword. Once we get that sword, we're gonna be in good. We're gonna be in a pretty good position. Then we're gonna grind out another level or 2, and that's gonna give us the heal spell, and then we're gonna be on our way. All right, guys, appreciate you guys coming out to the first playthrough of the retro series Phantasy Star 1, guys. I'll see you guys next episode. Later.